Hi. Today let's talk about why joy is increasing power. Most people think of joy as a feeling, something bright, expressive, emotionally elevated. We imagine excitement, happiness and enthusiasm. Something visible, something you can point to and say, that's joy. But that assumption is misleading because the most stable forms of joy rarely look like that at all. There are periods where nothing particularly exciting is happening, and yet everything feels quietly manageable. Decisions feel proportionate, conversations feel natural, tasks move forward without the sense of pushing against resistance. There isn't a dramatic emotional tone, just a subtle sense of coherence. Most people overlook these moments because they don't feel intense enough to count. But structurally, something important is happening. Spinoza defined joy as a transition to a greater degree of power, an increase in the system's capacity to act. That definition shifts the focus completely. Joy isn't about feeling good. It's about the widening of what is possible without strain. Once you see that, the quiet periods of ease begin to look very different. You realise that the absence of friction is not neutrality, it's increased capacity. Modern neuroscience describes something similar through the idea of neutral efficiency. When the brain is operating within optimal ranges, networks responsible for attention, regulation and decision-making function with less strain. The system becomes more flexible, more responsive and less effortful. Subjectively, this doesn't feel like excitement. It feels like ease. That's why people often miss it. We're conditioned to equate positive states with stimulation, something energetic, something emotionally expressive. But stimulation and power are not the same thing. Stimulation depends on novelty and often fades very quickly. Power feels steady. It shows up as clarity, tolerance, and a sense that you can engage without forcing yourself through resistance. So, if you think back to periods where life felt quietly coherent, you can probably recognise this. Tasks didn't require excessive deliberation. Conversations flowed naturally. Decisions felt proportionate rather than heavy. There was no dramatic sense of happiness, just a steady sense that things were manageable. At the time, you probably wouldn't have called it joy. But structurally, that's exactly what it was. An increase in available power.